I'm actually going to come back to something that I talked about in a previous episode back in season 1 of the podcast called Ikigai. Ikigai is a Japanese concept that roughly translates to a reason for being. The translation, like many, Japanese to English, it does not translate like totally correctly. So there's other interpretations of it. Another interpretation is the thing that you live for, or I like this one, the reason for which you get up in the morning. So, knowing or at least exploring your ikigai, your reason for being here on this planet, your reason for getting up in the morning is so stinking important to everything, literally everything. It is rooted in who you are at your very, very core. And it is what can lead you and guide you in so many of your life decisions. I'm going to break down what really stands out to me personally about this concept. There's actually like a Western slash business interpretation of Ikigai. And I really connect more personally with the more soul centered version, but I'm going to share both of them with you because I think that you, depending who you are and where you're at, you can probably get a little bit of something different out of this. But the entire idea for this podcast, the entire idea for the Creative Commute Facebook group that I started last March is completely the result of me exploring my Ikigai. I asked myself the questions that help to lead you to that over and over and over for weeks on end. It was actually, I think I had heard of Ikigai like back in 2019 and it kind of struck me and I was like, huh. But I really, at the beginning of 2020, I was asking myself this question nearly every single day. So think of Ikigai like a triangle. On one side is what do I love? What do I love? Another piece of the triangle is what am I good at? And the third side is what does the world need? And inside this triangle, inside that sweet spot, that that is your soul-centered purpose. That is your reason for getting up in the morning. It is your reason for being. Three sides. What do you love? This is about finding out what you enjoy and what truly, truly makes you happy. What do you love? What do you enjoy? That's what we're talking about so much in this episode. But another really important side of this is what are you good at? This is about what doesn't seem like work to you. What could you do all day and totally lose track of time? But also, what do you love being challenged at? What do you love continuing to grow in? So, what do you love? What are you good at? And what does the world need? That's the third side. Here, this is where you see opportunity. This is where you can serve. So it's so important to have all three of those things. And that's where you can find your life purpose. I highly encourage you to really think about these three questions for yourself. Now, I'm going to give you this Western slash business side. If you look up Ikigai, you'll likely find this 4 ways. Sometimes you'll see it as a Venn diagram. Sometimes it's like a square or a diamond. You'll see it in all these different ways. I like the simple triangle, and I'll tell you why. But the fourth side is what can you be paid for? So now obviously you get to the business side of things. Where is the place where your skill set is so needed that people will pay you for it? And that's where you can really turn your ikigai, the thing, your purpose, into something that actually brings money, that you can actually contribute to the world in a way. Now, the reason that I like to still think of it as a triangle is that I actually think that that fourth side is like a subset of what does the world need, right? What does the world need? Well, if they need it bad enough that they're willing to pay for it, then so I just think the triangle side of things simplifies it, but I do want to point out the whole part about being paid for it, because if you go and look this up online, you'll see a lot about that side. And in fact, if you look up Ikigai, there's actually a lot boiled down into this. So my little triangle is a total simplification of the concept, but I so look at it in whatever way makes the most sense for you. But this simple triangle to me is what really, really helped to guide me in the right direction. Again, it's the reason for this podcast. So I encourage you to write this down. What do I love? What am I good at? What does the world need? Really, really reflect on this. Come back to it every couple days. Keep thinking about what this really, really, truly means for you. See where this thought process takes you. It's really, really fascinating what started to become clear to me as I started to think about this. Things that I really thought I wanted to do started to fall away, whereas other things started to emerge and become really clear for me. So, a few more things about Ikigai that I think are important as you start to reflect on your own personal triangle. Your Ikigai should be challenging. It should lead you somehow to mastery and growth. Like you should be challenged in whatever this thing is. It should be your choice. It really is about what feels good for you. No one else can tell you what your Ikigai is, only you can know. It's also a commitment, reflection, discovery, belief, trust, all of these things takes time. It's not going to become clear overnight. And as you grow and change as a human, it's likely to change as well. So really important to know that it is a continual process of self-discovery, and committing to this is what is going to bring you closer to your purpose. It's going to bring you closer to your ultimate happiness, but it's work. It's work. And you're obviously committed to doing the work, or you wouldn't be listening to this podcast. So, congratulations. But finally, your ikigai should be a positive boost. When you're living in your purpose, you will feel more energy because it actually gives you more than it takes from you. So, you should feel strengthened by the thing that you're doing. And if you start to feel like it should feel positive because it gives more than it takes. If you're burnt out, something's off with your ikigai. If you are burnt out, you are not living in your right purpose. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to blow up everything that you know and start from scratch. It might just be that you need to shift a little bit. Go back to the three sides of the triangle. What do I love? What am I good at? What does the world need? Something might have changed. Maybe what you love has shifted or changed a little bit. Maybe it just needs a little bit of tweaking. Or maybe you need a new challenge in your skill sets. Maybe you have improved to the point that you need to set the bar a little higher, or you need to do something just a little bit differently. Or maybe the world doesn't need what you're providing in the same way that it needed it before, but you're trying to force it. And that's causing you to work more and harder, and you're getting burnout. It could be any of those three things that are causing you to feel kind of off balance and leading you to this place of burnout. Y'all, you know that trust is my word of the year, and self discovery takes some serious, serious trust. You have to trust that it is worth the time that you're spending to do it. Spoiler alert, it totally is. You have to trust that this discovery is going to lead you to something greater. You have to trust your inner voice. You have to trust the things that you love, that it's bringing you to a better place. And if you aren't familiar with your own inner voice, you have to trust that you can start to find it. And I think these three questions can lead you to that. Believe me, if I can crack my own shell, you can too. I am the biggest skeptic about all of this crap. In fact, I'm pretty sure I've called it crap in the past. My shell was about 6 feet thick. And it still is sometimes. Sometimes it starts to harden back up and I have to crack it all over again. But trust that this work is worth doing. Trust that it's going to lead you to the right things. And you'll be looking back a year from now and thanking yourself for starting right now, for shifting right now, for asking yourself these questions. There's a quote that I read from a book. I actually just bought this book. I haven't gotten it in the mail yet, but I'm excited to read it. But it is called The Courage to Be Happy. And the author of this book, Ichiro Kishimi, says, "Do not live to satisfy the expectations of others. Do not live to satisfy the expectations of others. Trust and believe in what makes you happy and the power that will bring to the world."